This is the half Jaguar. It's a 1931 Austin 7 Swallow. Austin 7 with bodywork by Swallow Sidecars of Blackpool. They then went on to make the SS 100 sports car, phenomenally successful car from the late 30s. But of course, towards the end of the 30s, the SS came to mean something rather less tasteful than sports cars, and so they changed their name to Jaguar. Now, before leaving this car, it's worth pointing out the reason it looks a bit shabby is it's a one-owner car. One owner from new this car's had, Mrs. McIntosh. She bought it when she was a young lady, and when she finally gave up driving, she gave it to the museum. And because it's so original, we're going to keep it that way. The next of the Jaguars is this XK150 Roadster from 1960. With a top speed of 125 from its 3.8 litre engine, it was the world's first production vehicle to have four-wheel disc brakes as standard, and at a little over £2,000, it was a third of the price of its Ferrari rival. Representing Jaguar's sporting heritage is this D-Type, which came second in the 1954 Le Mans. With a power output of 250 brake horse, it had a top speed of a near unbelievable 175 miles an hour, and its looks were the basis for the E-Type, of which this is a 1961 3.8 litre example. Even today, it still stops people in their tracks, so elegant and pure are its lines. The final Jaguar in the collection is a rather special one. It's big, in fact it's very big. It's also fast, very fast, and everyone who bought one in the 1980s as an appreciating classic had their fingers well and truly burnt. It is, of course, the Jaguar XJ220. If every car makes a statement, then this is a loads of money car. It's cash over practicality. It's a typical late 80s money statement. The car doesn't need to be as big as this. The McLaren proved that. It's far, far too big. It's too ostentatious. It's difficult to drive. It's completely useless for the job of getting you from A to B. And if you think that's bad enough, have a look at the luggage space. It is completely laughable. You wouldn't even get a briefcase in there, look. Car's built from aluminium. It's very, very high tech. Cost £403,000. And you can buy them brand new now for 150 because no one wants them. This was the comeuppance for the investor brigade. But worse still, its legacy is a Jaguar management unwilling to develop other exotic show cars for production, such as the gorgeous XK180. Oh well, all aboard, time for a spin. Well, it's off for a joyride around the grounds of Bewley, and I must say it's incredibly noisy. And judging by the gearing of the thing, if it's got 5 gears, 200 miles an hour, we're not going to get much out of first gear, I don't think. It is very, very noisy, quite bumpy, and not what you'd expect from a Jaguar at all. Another thing is you just cannot see any corners, you can't see the sides. It's a very, very limited field of view. I'm glad I'm not driving it actually, I'm really very glad. Obviously it'd be nice to boast about that I've driven an XJ220, but frankly, I wouldn't like to be the one to have to admit that I'd hit something in an XJ220. Ah, now we're motoring. Well, motoring, yes, but not for long. At anything below motorway speeds, it can overheat very quickly. I think we'd best put it back, eh? Well, that was certainly different, but I think I prefer my Jags to be a bit more refined, a little quieter, and with that extra bit of headroom.